Today I would like to share my experience with Google Pixel 8. I really hope that this video you will find useful, and I will try to answer on your potential questions, whether you have to upgrade to this device or not. Maybe you just have an old Pixel, like let's say Pixel 6 or Pixel 5, and you just thinking about to upgrade to the phone. Maybe you're completely out from this Pixel lineup, you have Samsung or an iPhone, and you're deciding to update your phone. So I really think that today I have some thoughts that might be useful for you to help you decide whether you have to do this or not. So I'm professionally developing mobile apps for Android specifically for the last 7 years, and so I have lots of experience with the system itself. I completely understand how it works under the hood, how the apps works and so on, and I have some feeling that I would say people who is not into the area, maybe they just don't understand how it works under the hood, but I have it, so I maybe can provide you some insights about the experience with the phone from the perspective as an Android developer. And what I would like to talk about is that before I'm using this phone, my last Android device was Pixel 4a 5G. I moved from the Pixel 4a 5G like a year and a half ago, and I tried to use the iPhone as my main device. And it was first time actually when I tried to use an iPhone. I didn't have experience with that before, so it was really interesting for me as an Android developer to see how things works on the other side. And I can completely say you that iOS experience is much more polished than in case of the Google Pixel, unfortunately, because I really like the way how the Android handles the notifications, how you have this navigation back gesture that you can do from whenever part on your screen. You can whether have some navigation buttons in the bottom of the screen, or you can just use some gestures. And it's a very huge selling point for me was to try Pixel again after the long time for iOS. But what I realized that for some reason nobody is talking about this on the YouTube. When you try to watch some videos, some experience, some reviews, usually people talked about the cameras, they're talking about the performance in games, battery life, and so on. But my case, how I'm using phone, is usually it's just a tool. It's a tool to get access to some services, applications, and so on. For example, I'm not playing any games on my phone. What I'm usually doing on my phone, it's I can listen some music, some streaming music, I can chat with somebody, I can check my email, I can check my tasks app and create new tasks, I can check time. Also, the phone is a key, digital key for my car. So I usually using, whether it's an iPhone or it's an Android device, I'm using the device in this way. And when I switched to iOS, I was really surprised how third-party apps works very well with iOS. So I maybe faced a few bugs during the year and a half, and I faced literally 10 times more issues with other apps on the Android for the first week when I switched back to the device. And my main SIM card still in the phone because I just didn't have enough time to switch back to iOS. But I really feel, unfortunately, that despite the fact that I hate how iOS handles notifications and again this back gesture, but it's at least something that you can use to, and you can expect iOS to work in this wrong, but in its own way, and you know that it will work like this. But with the Google Pixel 8, unfortunately, I very often face some issues with the system itself, with some applications. It just doesn't work properly. I even created some post in Reddit where I asked, am I alone? And usually I get some suggestions that, I'm using it's wrong, but I think it's usually it's people say about the iOS that you're just using it's wrong. But for some reason, Pixel community, I faced some very grateful people. They were very kind. It appears to me that Pixel users, they can just accept the fact that it may be not the best phone. And when we're talking about the pricing, for example, so for me, to be honest, I didn't consider a device based on this price, because I can afford myself any phone that I would like to, and usually I'm choosing the phone that is very convenient to hold in hand. It's cover my what I need from the phone itself, and that's why it's Pixel 8, not Pro, because it's small, it's very convenient in hand, but it's very slippery, so you still have to put the case on this thing, because it just will slip from your pocket, from your hands, and it's just impossible to use a phone without a case, to be honest. Just for the first week I had like several drops, and it started to notice on the body itself, so case. Yeah. Other issues that I have with the phone, it was, for example, for some reason on this device I can't add any eSIM card. Physical works okay. I will talk about this a bit later, but I just can't add any eSIM. I tried some, I'm living in Europe, and I tried like 4 different providers, and every time when I scan QR code, whether it's from the camera app, you can scan it from camera app or from the settings menu, the phone always stuck on the connection network info or something like this. It's some just default screen with some animation, and it will just be kept forever on the screen. So I stayed several times at night, like it was on the screen for 12 hours or so, and still it wasn't able to download the eSIM. I tried it in manual mode by tapping details of the eSIM by my hands, but still didn't work for some reason. I tried to contact Google support. They suggested me just to try to contact my carrier to resolve the issue, so it was just back and forth conversation without any useful details from their side, without any diagnostics and so on. So it's definitely something with this device, because I tried same eSIM in same area with same networks with the iPhone and with my old Google Pixel 4a 5G. It just works without any issues, just a few seconds and eSIM downloaded. But on this device, it is not. I'm trying to flash the device from scratch from the Google's website. I even tried to install custom ROM, just to completely, remove all radio images and so on from the device. Try to like reset it as much as possible. It still didn't help, so it doesn't work. Seems that it's some hardware issue, but you have to consider that it might happen with you, when you buy a phone from the 6,000 euros in case of the euro. There is also some weird stuff with the screen. I can see under the screen. I won't show you on the camera because you won't see this, but in very strong light you can see there is some pops below the screen, and it's not an issue. When the phone came out, several users reported the issue. Google said that it's okay, don't worry about this, but it's just something wrong with the manufacturing of the phone, and they accepted this. Same I can say about the screen itself. For example, when the phone switches from 60 Hz to 120 Hz, especially on some black background and in low light, you can just see when the way of the grayness of the screen jumps when the phone switches between all this type of screen refresh rate. So it's literally you are not getting premium experience from the phone. And I tried Pixel 8 Pro, and it's absolutely the same. Yeah, in terms of the screen, it's better than here, but I have a friend who is carrying the Pixel 8 Pro. We talked with him about some software issues, and he said that it's actually same for him. It doesn't bother him, but it's way how it works. And in network, there is always comparison between iOS and Android, and some Android users say that it's not so bad and so on. But I can say that it's like, when you're drinking your whole life, you drink some coffee in a coffee shop that you like, and you really like the coffee. It's taste is fine, the service is great and so on. and then you occasionally go to another coffee shop, which is, and you asked for some coffees that you didn't try before, and you realized that, wow, this is actually better, slightly better than you had before. And once you return back to your old coffee shop, you will just remember, yeah, it's actually nice, but I know that on those coffee shops, the coffee is slightly better. Same, actually, I can say for the iOS versus Android. Again, from the perspective on the functionality, I like the Android way more better than iOS. But again, as I mentioned, for me, phone is just a tool, and I found myself that, unfortunately, iPhones with iOS can provide you more reliable and stable experience when you just have to heavily rely on your phone. And nowadays, let's be honest, you have your banking apps that you have to access to make some stuff. You have notifications that you have to make sure that they will deliver to you at time. Again, yeah, I forgot to mention that. For me, for some reason, even with Gmail, with native Android apps, I face issue when notification may be delivered delayed. For example, it's sitting quiet on the desk. Once I pick it up, unlock the screen, I hear the notification sound, notification appears on my screen. And it's happened, I don't know why. I checked battery permission settings. I don't have even disabled battery optimization for specific apps that is crucial for me to get notification. It's in time. It doesn't happen every time, but it happens, and sometimes I missed very important information because notification just was delivered not in time. Yeah, and probably the last thing that I would like to talk with you today, might be related because of some hardware issues that I had, which I talked about, the eSIM, it's the connection in general. When I switched to the Pixel, just at the day, immediately I started to notice how worse the connection is. So I can still see 5G, full 5G signal on my phone, but when I'm trying to call my family members or somebody else, it's clear for me that the quality of the calls is degraded significantly. I can, its delay is more bigger than it was with iOS, for example, with an iPhone. And it was in first day, I saw that, hey, maybe it just happens and we will see in future. But again, I am carrying this phone after the iPhone for 3 weeks or something like this, and it's still happening. Yes, in general, this is my experience. Very curious to know, guys, about your thoughts, because, this is very objective for sure, but I'm just very interested to know, am I alone? Maybe somebody else has same issues, or maybe just my device particularly, I don't really know. But yeah, so if, for example, somebody asked me about whether I should buy or switch to iOS or Android, for me personally, unfortunately, at least for this year or two, I am answering that I will back to iOS, and maybe we will wait for several generations from Google. Maybe once they update their manufacturing of their chipsets, maybe from TSMC they will be better. But for now, it's still not really a reliable device, even that I really like the UI and the management logic of the system itself. But, in this case, for today, iOS is